Hey, Shalom, it's your brother Yuanathon, all right? First and foremost, want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone. Want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. This is part 2 of We're Vexed but Vindicated, all right? And I named the title of the video that because, yeah, we're surrounded by evil. We're surrounded by the spell casting of the wicked, its plots and ploys, and most of the people around us have fell victim to it. But at the end of the day, through prophecy, we understand at the end of all of this, the wicked is going to be removed. The kingdom is going to be translated from one people to another, and righteousness is going to go forth in the earth. So, it takes patience to see it play out, but we're seeing the prophecies all on the board. So that's why we want these end time prophecies to play out. Yeah, it's going to come with a lot of testing. Yeah, it's going to come with a lot of heartache. That's just the rite of passage in this thing. But the end of it all leads to new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, as stated in 2 Peter 3, 11 on down. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this part 2 with the video clip that we ended with in part 1. All right? Just going into the usual suspect and his usual plots and ploys to destabilize the people, to destabilize the minds of the people, okay? And feminism is a big part of that. Feminism isn't something that was an organic movement. It was manufactured. And the lady's going to expound on the purpose of it in the clip, okay? So we're not going to play the whole clip this time. We'll just get to the point that I want, and then we'll go into precepts from there. So let me put this clip up for you guys with no further ado. All right, make it, yeah. Okay. And let's play it.
I know the man who recruited me, and I knew the professors that I was working with. Nobody else. All I know is they were paying for everything.
And for the people that are just watching part 2, this woman is basically a CIA agent who was set up through the U.S. Embassy in the Middle East to, again, manufacture the feminism in that region of the earth, and she's going to tell you why. And this is a ploy that they used on the West, and it took root heavy over here, but it took root slightly over there in the middle, but it's much tougher to do over there, because I'll say this: Christianity and Islam, neither one of those are the path to salvation. Neither one of them have the truth, but Islam has a very heavy sense of order, at least over there. Now they got their behind the scenes wicked shit they got going on too, but it's a heavier sense of order in the East. So this plot from the devil, this ploy from the devil, it's a harder thing to take root over there. But she's gonna go into the purpose of why the wicked use feminism to destabilize the people. Let's continue on.
I'd already set up my job in the American Embassy for when I graduated with international law. So maybe like 7 years down the line.
The Western organization's biggest goal in teaching their members the Quran and Hadith to the point where they can manipulate the Quran and Hadith and change the minds of the Islamic community.
What they wanted was the power and the control. They also recognized that, because I did question, why are we targeting feminism and women? And their answer is...
Okay, they wanted power and control. Now that's not the point, but I want to mention, let me get this precept here for you all. Ephesians 6, and we'll start at verse 10. I'm going to read it in the GNT here. Okay, Ephesians 6 and 10. All right? Now that reads, finally, build up your strength in union with the Lord by any means, Salakia, and by means of his mighty power. Put on all the armor that God gives you. Bear with me really quick. So that you will be able to stand up against the devil's evil tricks. All right, it says so that you will be able to stand up against the devil's evil tricks, meaning you'll be able to see through the deception. Apostle Gabar did a lesson years back, and it used to be like an annual lesson he would do. He would give the analogy of the parrot, the monkey, the frog, the owl, and the serpent. You see at I believe it's Yale University, they have a statue of each of these animals, and it basically represents a person's levels of understanding. The parrot representing the person that, they learn something, they're in the phase of mimicking, and it's translated over to the truth. You come in, you hear a lot of the common terms that somebody might say, so you're at a point where you can mimic the things that you're hearing, and you can mimic what's being said. And then the monkey, monkey see, monkey do, right? You can mimic what you might see brothers doing, which is you have to go through these phases. It's a necessary thing. The frog is a phase that you don't want to be. The bullfrog is a phase you don't want to necessarily be in, because you're cemented in your way, and it's good to be cemented in this truth. You want to be cemented, but you don't want to get stuck there to where you can't grow and gauge things in the spirit. A bullfrog, if you put it in a pot of water and you start to turn that water up to extreme heat, it'll just sit there and burn. It's not able to flow with the spirit. Okay? But then you have the owl, which is the point I want to get to. The owl has a filament in its eyes to where it can see in the dark. And that's a great level to be at in this truth, because if you can see through the dark, you're seeing through what? You're seeing through deception. You can see through tricks. You can see through lies. You can see through people's intentions. You can gauge things in the spirit. Okay? And then obviously the serpent represents extreme amounts of patience, which our whole walk is about patience. The Lord had to be patient. Okay? Patient is a synonym with suffering. Okay? And our walk is about, denying the flesh. So your flesh is suffering, but your spirit is being fed. Okay? So I want to key in on that owl, though, because she said they wanted power and control. So somebody who's moving in the spirit or seeing in the spirit, they understand when this devil is using things like feminism, the left and right paradigm. They can see through these things. They know they're just ploys to deceive the people. They know it's a trick. Okay, it says, so that you will be able to stand up against the devil's tricks. For we are not fighting against human beings, but against wicked spiritual forces in the heavenly world, the rulers, authorities, and cosmic powers of this dark age. So again, I believe in the Geneva Bible, it says we're fighting against the worldly governors. And the worldly governors are the hand, okay, that the spiritual entity Satan uses to forward evil in the earth. Like it talks about in 2 Thessalonians 2:7-9, I believe. It's coming after the working of Satan, right? That's this man, and these are some of the tactics that he uses. But this next point that she makes is basically the sum of this whole video. Let's see here.
You destroy a man, you destroy a man. If you destroy a woman, you destroy the generations that come after her. So they become less practicing of Islam. They become weaker and...
Okay, so you heard what she said? She said, you destroy the man, you just destroy that man. But they want to get past destroying the men. They've done that. They wanted to destroy our women. And this is where, sisters, this is where your role is important amongst the nation. All right? Because, people say, oh, you guys hate the sisters. You guys don't. Yeah, we love our women. They just have a place and an order. Okay? And it's not on the level of the man. But you guys are the first teachers of the children. Okay? So if they can destroy the women, and they can mess the minds up of the women, then they destroy the generations that come after. Okay? See, the righteous way, a woman's being the first teacher of the children, she's supposed to echo the sentiment of the father. And if he's led by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that righteous sentiment is going to be passed down unto the children, so that they're raised up in the way that they should go and they won't depart from it. Okay? But now they got the man out the way, now they could disrupt the first teachers of the children, or they could remove the woman in general and have the state raise the children. Sending the women to the workforce, right? Now they could get to the children, the future generations directly. and stop a rebellion or the standing up of the righteous before it even starts. That's why it's such a miracle that we're here doing what we're doing today. Because our nation fell victim to this trick. Yet, the Lord had the elect standing in their lots regardless. Clearly, divine intervention. You see? Clearly. So, get this clip off here. Bear with me. Get that off. Alright? So, when you go to 1 Peter 5 and 8, and I'm reading the GNT, it says, be alert, be on watch. Right? Your enemy, the devil, roams around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. And a part of how he devours people is through these manufactured movements, through these manufactured train of thought, through these manufactured stances that they push in society that have nothing to do with salvation, that have nothing to do with uprooting the evil that has taken root in the earth. You see, when you're able to see through the deception, you understand, even as a sister, you understand your enemy isn't the man. Your enemy is the wicked rulers of the society. Your wickedness is the evil that's being forwarded. That's your enemy. As a man, you understand that your enemy isn't necessarily your brother, the 2/3. Now they are used as pawns of the enemy, but you understand the root of the problem is the wicked that's in rulership. You understand the root of our problem was our disobedience. And you understand that the only way back is through our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. Because he was the one that the Lord set up to be the bridge back to being in his good graces. And if we're not in the Lord's good graces, we have nothing. Okay? The only reason people succeed and have things or are in the positions that they're in is because the Lord allowed them to be there. Do not the scriptures say he setteth up kings and taketh them down? Okay, so you understand that our solution to our problem is not a carnal one, it's a spiritual one. Our people think there's a carnal solution to our spiritual problem, and it's not. Okay, so this is, where the vindication comes in. Vindicate means to be, to have your revenge, so to speak, and vengeance is the Lord's. So we know, okay, in this time, we're instructed to seek righteousness, seek meekness, so that we may be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, because the revenge is going to be carried out, and the elect are going to get to see it. Okay, so, it's vexing being in this place. It's vexing being around the people. It's vexing listening to fucking people, because they're just little micro clones of Esau Edom. Okay, like you seen in part 1, I put the nigger woman up, her perspective, and she really thought that she had a point, or they really think they understand things, and they don't understand. They're just pawns in a much bigger scheme. The people think they're on a level, and they're not at all. The only way you can have access to being on any kind of level truly is understanding, and fearing Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures say. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's the only way you can truly have real wisdom and really be on a level. There's people in the world that understand things. They might be experts in certain fields and things like that, but to bring the big picture together, to understand the big picture, no, you can't do that without Yahweh Shai and fearing him, walking in his way. The scriptures even tell you again, wisdom will not dwell in a malicious soul. Okay? So yeah, we're vexed in this place just like Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, but at the same time, knowing what we know and walking in this path, we're of the hopeful elect. And if you're of the hopeful elect, you know that you're going to be vindicated, that the Lord is going to recompense these people for all the evil that they've done, that things are going to be made right. So I think I got one more clip. I got maybe 2 more clips I want to show you. And I pretty much wrapped the lesson up. Okay, it's really just one more clip, and this is just for the the women that are coming into this walk, or just the random women that just ran across this video. I want you to understand this, okay? Because this is a little segment for the women and sisters. The so-called Israelite man is not your enemy, and at the end of the day, it's also written in the scriptures. The men we know that our women would be against us, that she would be used as a tool against us. This is in the curses, man. That she would have a hatred for us. So it ain't like, we're surprised that majority of our women hate us. The Lord made it that way. It's literally in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Okay, so it's a vexing thing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this is just a punishment from the Lord. You stop kind of looking at the woman so much. Obviously you're gonna get on her ass. We go on everybody's ass. But as you realize, like, the solution is the kingdom. The solution is to do what we're supposed to do towards the Lord. And at the end of the day, the Lord will vindicate everything. Talk about Isaiah 4:1. Once this trouble and chaos starts, women gonna snap out of that damn spell. The Lord gonna have them snap out of that shit real fast. And again, this clip is for the women to understand that, bro, the man isn't your enemy. The wicked rulers, this rulership, the way the society is run, that's truly the problem. So to the sisters that the Lord, might be opening their understanding, because there's gonna be women that get saved. Understand this concept that a man is important, okay? Especially a man of the Lord. But let me run this clip real quick.
Protection from the men. Right now, it's men that protect women. Y'all got the strength. We get right. Stop. Losing stop. Men keep other men in check. That's why it's sad that women talk so long to men. When literally women wouldn't have anything if men decided we're not going to give it to them. And allow men lower themselves to raise women up. Because if a man decided that he wanted to just continue to oppress you, what could you do to stop it? And men collectively said, we're going to continue to rape women, we're going to continue to keep women in the house and everyone pregnant. What could women do to stop it? Some men should be looked at a lot better than they are because we're looked at as horrible people and we're literally protecting and building society.
All right, and to the brothers, man, it's too late to be stressed out about a goddamn woman. You know what I mean? They got their places. Women are accessories to power. Okay, so right now we need to be cleaving unto our power, and the solutions will come. All right, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a vexing thing, but it shouldn't be having a pull on you to where it gets you out of character or consumes your fucking day. Do something else. All right, read, make lessons, do some research, study some history. Jeez Louise. But Abarat is out. The lesson was edifying. Okay. Want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.